Welcome to an inside look at the WIFL. The Women's Indoor Football League is the first true professional football league for women. No bikinis, no hockey helmets, real women, real athletes. Joining us today is former LFL Baltimore Charm member and current WIFL Regional Spokeswoman and player, Cara Vargas. Former LFL Las Vegas Sin player and current WIFL Regional Spokeswoman and player, Amber Wilson. Former LFL Baltimore Charm player and current WIFL Regional Spokesperson, Julie Oleson. And former LFL Baltimore Charm head coach and leading candidate to be head coach of the Baltimore team, Coach Rick Reeder.
Hi, my name is Cara Vargas, and I am with the WIFL Women's Indoor Football League. I come up from a wide variety of background sports, including boxing, martial arts, wrestling, and a few other sports as well. And really found that football is, become a passion of mine. It's a wonderful collaborative team sport, and I'm happy to be a part of it. And I'm with a great team of women who come from a variety of different athletic backgrounds. And Amber, where are you from?
I'm Amber Wilson, hometown San Diego, California. I'm a former collegiate athlete. I played soccer, and I was also an athletic trainer for an IWFL team in California called the Quake, as well as a WFA trainer turned football player with the Pack Warriors. I got into the Laundry Football League, turned Legends Football League, playing cornerback, and I was really drawn to the WIFL for different safety provisions and the way the league is set up with the business model. What about you, Julie?
My name is Julie Oleson. I originally was a volleyball player, played all throughout college, also took up boxing and kickboxing. And with the opportunity of women's football, I jumped at the chance to be able to meet a couple of people. Actually, Cara and I tried out together. So we've been through a lot. We've seen a lot of great things come and go. And a great thing that came about it was the opportunity to get involved with the WIFL. So that's where I am, and I'm really excited to see what we can do moving forward.
Well, my name is Coach Rick Reeder. I've been coaching in the LFL for 3 years, and recently, resigned from it. Got the opportunity to coach Cara, Coach Julie. Never got to coach you yet, but I am one of the leading candidates to coach in with the Baltimore Blitz. So I will be running the tryouts for the DC tryout in July 27th, I believe. Correct. Looking forward to seeing where this goes.
Okay, so guys, tell us what attracted you guys to the Women Indoor Football League. Looks like this is a good thing, a new league coming into the area. We really want people to join this league. Tell us more about the league.
Well, I became attracted to the league when I resigned from another league I was a little concerned about safety provisions and the style of football, and I really want to be able to take women's football to the next level and be able to work with women who are showcasing their talents, for what they are and not how they look. And so I stumbled across the WIFL via some forum that I found, ended up liking it on Facebook, got in contact with the owner, learned more about the league and what it's all about, and I'm really excited to be able to take part in something that's a true women's professional football league as opposed to more entertainment. I want to be able to showcase my athletic abilities, tear some people up on the field, and see where we can go from there.
I completely agree. I came from the 11-man background with football. I was kind of led to believe that the league I was formerly involved with was really more about a high level and high caliber of competitive sports for women after college. Unfortunately, it was more of an entertainment factor, and that wasn't really conducive to what I had trained for and what I had really prepared for. So similar to Cara, the opportunity presented itself to really get involved with something that combined the 11-man football with the arena football that I was familiar with, and now I'm looking at something that is really moving forward in a positive direction for women's sports.
I originally wanted to try out for the Laundry Football League because everybody that I talked to told me I couldn't. We watched it on TV, and I was right there, actually in a bar, and my bar owner was like, there's no way you could do it. And so from then on, I told myself I was going to, and I don't regret making that decision one day. I wanted to see what it was about. I knew that I was signing up voluntarily for something that kind of came with a lot of baggage. And I was looking forward to it, and I did it, and I met some incredible people. From a business aspect, I saw where there are more opportunities with this league, just from, again, like Cara said, the safety provisions, but also from the personal endorsements that are available to folks if they want to go ahead and do. But there's also some protections, in place for the players themselves. And I think that that's one of the biggest things is I'm not going to be playing, but I really want to be a part of something from the background to make sure that the things that are highlighted are really brought to the forefront. So that safety, that's number one. We all have to pay our own bills. So knowing that we have the backing of a league that takes that into consideration, make sure that we're in the best equipment we can, I think is one of the biggest things that drew me to this. So coming from that, I'm really excited to see what kind of women come out, because it's for everybody across the board, not just ones that look great in a bikini, but those that
Real
athletes that can hit. I mean, you got to be able to back your stuff up. So really looking forward to that, like these kids. So
What drew me to the league was you can actually you don't have to be very trying to find the right words. You don't have to worry about what the person looks like or what their body looks like. I mean, you can be 300 in pure muscle or anything and be a complete athlete and still be able to play in this league. The league before, there was no chance that you were going to be able to play. I had to turn away so much talent in the past 3 years, technically 4 years, because of the size, because of their weight or their looks. They just didn't have the look for the league. But in this league, it doesn't matter what you look like. As long as you're a pure athlete and you're willing to give everything you got, you're going to be given a good opportunity to play football. You're not going to be judged on your looks, judged on your weight, judged on anything. You're just going to be an athlete and just play. And the support from the league is what I also saw too, what you just mentioned about the insurance, making sure they're taken care of properly financially. You're getting an opportunity to really play football and not have any concerns. You have insurance, you have your pay. You're just gonna have fun and not worry about anything else.
I think too, not being able to be a pro sports player and sign a contract and just worry about practice and showing up to a game, but also have to pay the bills. And then to a lot of us, this is more of just a hobby. So that's kind of the role that I took, to where I'm like, I'm still dedicating a lot of my life to it, but it's something I'm choosing to do, versus this is actually an avenue where women can put a lot into it and can really invest in it. And there are some things that can turn around in that positive. If it's, you want to be able to do more for your community and get involved, we're involved with a lot of community outreach programs, which really connects the players to the kids, to the families, to the people that are coming to the games. It's not just, here, let me sign a photo of me and we're going to keep that distance, but we want to be able to be involved with the communities as well. And I think that kind of turns over, because I know too, even from tryouts, once we were, had gone through that first leg, you have these hundreds of women coming out, and right then you have to cut down to, okay, there's only a specific percentage that I can even look at to consider.
Yep.
And now it's like, well, no, I have 300 plus athletes that now your job's going to be even harder.
Yeah.
Because now, the easy part's
which I
taken
don't
out.
mind.
Yeah.
I'd rather be worried about 300 than having to worry about the 20 that only 10 of them can play, and the other 10 I have to really teach them how to play football. I'd rather have 300, cut it in half to 150 that are pure athletes, and that's more of a challenge for me, which would be great, because then I can actually put together a true football team.
Well, to piggyback on what Julie just spoke about, she was talking about really, being a part of the community and being able to, you're almost serving as like a mentor to young women and other children for that matter, and being able to say, look, you can do whatever it is you want to do if you're willing to work hard enough for it. You don't have to fit a specific stereotype look or mold. You're able to do this if you do what I did. If you really put your all into it and focus on achieving your dreams, you can achieve that. And as opposed to somebody saying, look, you can't do this because you don't look a certain way. And that's one of the things that I took to heart when previously being a part of the LFL was based on the looks. You know, you're required to cut a certain amount of weight for a photo shoot and whatnot. And to me, you know, that could severely affect my position. I was playing center and also defensive end. And you know, in the NFL, they have a lot of weight on them. So I feel like that would only hurt me. And being a personal trainer in my previous background, I took about, you know, being in that role to serve as a mentor, to be able to serve as some sort of, you know, a woman to look up to. And I wouldn't teach that. If I had a child, I would not want my daughter to feel like she had to cut weight to look a certain way. If you're able to perform and do your best, then so be it. You should be allowed that position. You should be allowed the opportunity to prove yourself, not based on how you look. So that's something I really appreciate about the WIFL. And, you know, I think that that will bring us closer to the communities, closer to, you know, getting children off the streets as well. You know, it gives them an opportunity to perform and, you know, find a hobby that they really enjoy. And I think it's just great all around for, you know, self-confidence and so forth.
I think that's actually, you saying that, like, one of my biggest highlights, I know I had a short career, but was having a little girl coming up to me and asking me for an autograph. And she wanted to be a football player. And I remember being told no in 7th grade, you can't play football, you have to go play volleyball. So that's what I did. I'm still very glad I did it, but this was my chance to be able to play football again. And so instead of, you know, signing that autograph to this little girl and saying, you know what, you can do this, knowing that she didn't have the look was hard, because it's like I have to put an asterisk next to it saying you can follow your dreams as long as you fit this.
Mm-hmm.
And so now it's like, you know what, keep playing, play with the boys, knock them around. Like, that's what we want to do. That's what, you know, seeing these little girls that say, I want to play, but I don't feel pretty, I can't do that. It's, you know what, it's not what we're looking for. Like, take that out of your mind, because, you know, we might all sit up here and, you know, be able to straighten our hair, but come game day, I mean, it's ugly. Like that, you know,
Yeah,
for a fact.
yeah.
Like, and there are going to be beautiful women that play hard. There are going to be girls that have, you know, like more on them. That's what we want. We just want girls that want to play. And I'm really excited to be a part of something and endorse something that I really believe in. So.
Like, one of the big the questions that are thrown at me is, how is it different to coach men and then coach women? Well, it's no different. I mean, all it is a different gender. I mean, they're both working their butts off. They have athletic backgrounds. It's the challenge for me is I'm teaching a new sport to ladies that's never played it before, and that's the only difference between men and the women, because men, they get to grow up from 5 to 6 and play. But I really think if once this league jumps off, I believe more youth women's programs could start from this, which the WIFL can start feeder programs from the youth. And once they actually see that this program works and generates great role models, great athletes, other women are going to start their leagues and then want to have their young ladies growing up in the youth level. Then there might be a spot in college for them. There might be, you know, you never know, because where'd the NFL start? The NFL started in the backyard. They started on this, like, just throwing a pigskin around with this little leather helmet. Now look at it today. The NFL is a huge market. Why can't the WIFL be a huge market? They got to start somewhere. If we start off as great role models first, and then the youth programs start, then we know we're getting somewhere. But you're not going to get anywhere when you have to judge people on their looks and basically what they're wearing. We are just going to play real football, and it has to start somewhere, and I believe it can happen.
I think you brought up a good point, comparing like men's football to women's football, and I think in other leagues there's 11-man, which you can certainly speak to.
Mm-hmm.
And can you talk, like, what's the difference between 11 to what you played to what you're looking for? I mean, the league time.
And this is 8-on-8 now.
8-on-8.
Yes.
There's going to be more games. I mean, you've played.
Well, with the arena league that we were all involved in formerly, there were only 4 games in your regular season. So with the WIFL, they're following more of the NFL business plan with 13 regular season games. What I think the difference is between 11-man and the former league that we were all involved in is there's more of like a family vibe. What I was going to say is the WIFL promotes a more relatable aspect to all different walks of life. We all know women come in every different shape, size, color, background, etc. And as long as you bring that attitude, you can't be soft. You got to be ready to hit. You got to be ready to get off those blocks. You got to make a play. You need to show up. This isn't about your hair. It's not about who you know. There's no free passes here. Anybody that can really step up to that type of challenge, we want to see you. We want to see other tryouts.
And the difference, like you brought up with, we're having a 13-game season. You're actually running off of AFL rules, which is the Arena Football League rules. So you're actually going to, like the fans can, or anyone can understand the game a lot better. You don't have to go off of silly rules where you can't do this, can't do that. You're actually going to be allowed to play real football with real times, play consistently every week. There is bye weeks, of course, but that's just to get everyone's bodies back in check. But you're actually playing real endurance football, not having a week off here, a month off there, and then have to get ready for a playoff game, and you're really not ready because you play against each other every day in practice, and that's just not cutting it. Then you don't get any in preseason games, which I think is ridiculous. But this league is going to, model the best football product out there. You're actually going to travel to each team, play each other at least 2 or 3 times, which I think is awesome. I mean, why not start rivalries when you can't start a rivalry with just playing one game a year, or just pretend there's a rivalry just because it's the NFL has one. We need to start our own, and I think that would be, I'm just really looking forward to seeing how things are going to pan out with the teams around the league. I'm just hoping to see everyone, you guys, to come out to these tryouts and show what kind of talent you have, because there's a lot of talent out there, but too afraid to come out and show us.
Well, and we all played on teams where there were 20 max, 14 that traveled, and only 7 got to be on the field at the same time.
And now we're allowed 25 and 20 can
Exactly.
play, yes.
So we're going to have big teams. We're going to be having teams all up and down the eastern seaboard.
Yep.
So it's not like we have, if you don't play one game, a quarter of your season is done.
Mm-hmm.
You actually get to, grow as a player and get to, like you're saying, those rivalries.
Yes.
You get a kind of, I was impressed too, even before I set foot on the field, how many people were getting in contact with me just because women's football is coming up. You're hearing about it in so many different venues, and
Yes.
not just the LFL and not just the WIFL, but you hear about it in AFL and all these different kinds because it's being talked about. Women are playing in co-ed leagues. Little girls are blowing up little boy leagues, running around.
You see more
Yes.
stories now that women are
Exactly.
being more in high school games. They're actually playing in games, and they're actually doing better than the men. So that's a great point. Very good point.
Another aspect that I really enjoy about the league that it's going to be very well balanced because there are going to be a limit of 25 people per roster, 20 active. There is going to be a salary cap of $100,000, which is, yay, that's a bonus for us, but there will also be a minimum pay per game. So one player doesn't have to feel that they're, being taken advantage of. It's going to be very fair playing turf. Of course, the more intense players will probably have a little bit more, but, that's a great advantage to the women is that they have a fair playing field. They're going to have the opportunity to go ahead and, play amongst, a wide variety of locations. And we're only going to be playing in our conference, which is another great aspect to the league. We are going to be playing, you're either going to be in the Northern Conference or Southern Conference. So Northern Conference players, New York, New Jersey, Washington, Baltimore, Richmond, and so forth. We're not going to have to, take off of work for a week to fly out to California or anything like that. So that's a great advantage to our players as well. And just wanted to put that out there. Also, the tryouts. We're going to be holding tryouts. We keep mentioning these tryouts. Tryouts are going to be on the 27th of this month, July, to kind of a surprise location, so to speak. So we'll be finding out very shortly. It's down to 2 locations. So we're welcoming players of all backgrounds and looks and just come out, show us what you've got. Tryouts are available right now on the www.wiflfootball.com website. You can go ahead and register right there. So come out and show us what you got. We're looking forward to that.
And it's an NFL style tryout. So you're looking at the 40 times your 20-yard shuffle, your board jumps. You're looking at your normal skill position tryout. So we're gonna look at skills, but we're also gonna see what you can do athletically, because we can easily turn an athlete into a football player.
I think too, you mentioned the pay, and that's always been something that's talked about. You know, that we're not signing huge contracts, but I think it's the principle to even be offered $5. I'm not saying we're getting paid that, but just something that's basically saying, you know what, you're putting on something, you're signing up for this. We want to make sure that you're taken care of from an aspect of, we value you as a player, not just as a player, but as a human being, because we know what you're putting into this. You're investing your time away from your family. You're investing your time away from your jobs. You know, you're sacrificing, you're doing that. So instead, the most that we can do is be able to, you know, compensate you in a way that we think is fair, and that's also a reflection of, you know, a business plan, like you mentioned, because we are being taken as serious professional athletes and not just amateurs, and not just, you know, I think the big thing too is following through on one's word.
Yes.
And I think that that's where this is really exciting, because we could probably all say in one time or another we've been told one thing and expected that, and unfortunately it didn't pan out the way we thought. And with that comes new opportunities, and here we all are willing to, you know, go into this again and believe in it. So
So we invite you out,
Get your
especially
butts
everybody
out
out there in Virginia and Maryland and the Washington area. July 27th, we want the ballers. Get off the couch, put Madden down, get in the gym. Everybody who CrossFits, those triathletes, the Iron Woman, we're looking for you. Just show us up.
You mentioned Richmond, so we have Richmond, DC, and Baltimore.
Yeah.
So we're going to have a DC tryout for those 3 teams.
Yes.
So.
And if you're interested in some of the other tryouts, maybe you're not in this area, or maybe you want to try out more than once, why not? You know, get your time down twice. They're also going to be having some tryouts later on in August as well. So August 10th, they're going to be doing a tryout in New York City. I believe on the 24th, they're going to have a tryout, I want to say was that Alabama? I'll have to look back into that. But they're having a tryout on the 24th and the 31st as well. So those are also some districts or areas in which you'd be able to show up and try out in the near future as well. If you're interested in, you know, coming out and showing us what you got.
Well, and the time frame too is we're going to be having tryouts now, practice throughout the fall, and then games won't be starting until about May or June.
And
And
we have training camp that starts in January. Like we said, it's a 13-season game, so start now. You don't want to miss the first season. You're going to regret it come second season. And the competition's going to get worse, harder. I mean, I'm looking for you. So come take my spot.
Lead the frontier. Now, all of us have a WIFL social media network that you can take part of. I know I personally have a Facebook page, so Cara Vargas, WIFL. You're welcome to go on there, fan me, like me, do whatever you want. As well as we have some fan shops available. I know right now I've got some fan shop available through Cafe Press for the Baltimore Blitz, as well as the Washington Wildcats teams. Amber and Julie are also going to have some fan shops available very soon, and they have some social media networking available. So you can reach out to them, ask them some questions. Feel free to contact us if you have any questions regarding the tryouts, what to bring, what to wear, you know, what to be expected. Please reach out to us. We're here to help you. And I'm sure I speak for all of us on that part.
Right.
Do you want to go ahead?
Any questions that you have and you want to direct towards me or Cara, Julie, or Coach Reeder, feel free. You can find me on the social media sites, Amber WIFL. You can contact me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram.
Yeah, if you want to know their weaknesses, come to me, because I won't be playing. Instead, I will be
shameful.
I will be telling all their secrets about, you know, when to go low, when to go on their left side and whatnot. But yeah, if you have any questions, please feel free to email me. Again, if you even have just questions about our backgrounds, because we've been involved in so many different aspects, please feel free to ask any questions that you have. And you even said what to prepare for. If you have, you know, what can you do from, you know, to be able to highlight your best capabilities while at a tryout, you know, get on your sprints, get on the things, you know, we've all been there, but sometimes get on those plyos, get on whatever can really maximize your exposure for a short amount of time, because tryouts, we got to be,
weeks away,
yeah. So,
What do you think, Coach?
you ready?
Well, I think I'm ready for tryouts.
How can these girls prepare?
Eye black.
Absolutely.
We all know the inside joke on eye.
No bikinis.
Yeah.
Please do not show up in just sports bras.
Prepare to, you know, I'm the type of coach where I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to keep working you. They got to experience it. I'm laid back, but I will push you to be, the best you can be. I will make sure that you're going to be driven pretty much to your max. What I expect from tryouts, just show up. I don't care what the hell you're dressed. Excuse me, I didn't mean to say that, but I don't care what you're dressed in. If you want to bring gloves, bring gloves. If you want to, I would recommend wearing a mouthpiece. It could get physical because I would like to see people being physical, because if you're not physical without pads, you're not going to be physical with pads. Eat right. Don't come to practice or tryouts after eating fast food. That's the worst thing you could possibly do. Make sure you put in the right vitamins, minerals, everything into your body to take care of any kind of cramping that will happen, legs, or if you got to wear your knee braces, ankle. I recommend ankle braces, because that's just how I am. I'm just going to make sure if you get hurt, I'm going to make you keep going. That's all I expect from tryouts. Just give me your all.
WIFL is concerned with player safety and will use the best equipment made available. And later on, can you tell me where you think the future lies with the WIFL?
Well, safety concerns is big for me. I teach and I coach about complete safety. Like, I want you to strengthen your necks more so we don't have to worry about concussions, or there will be concussions in games, but I always tell my players, always take care of your bodies, because safety is huge. Equipment in the WIFL is going to be similar to it actually is just like the NFL. We have one of our players here has played for another women's football league. She will get into that equipment here shortly, but coming from a past league, the equipment was pretty much not even there. Hockey helmets is made for hockey, not for football. It doesn't take on the type of hits that you would in hockey. Yeah, you're hitting ice and you're taking one-on-one hits, but when you take multiple hits by 5 people onto one, you can really get injured, all from a head injury down to an possibly all body injury. When you're wearing proper leg and knee equipment, you are helping yourself to prevent any type of injury. Other leagues, like the LFL, there's a knee brace that has no support. Same with the shoulder pads. Shoulder pads, you need the proper shoulder pads to protect your collarbones, to protect any type of shoulder injuries. If you have barely nothing on, you are going to get hurt consistently, and that's why insurance companies won't pick up those type of leagues. That's why we're taking, with our proper equipment, our proper safety going to be issued into the WIFL. That's why insurances are going to be provided to players and is willing to work with the WIFL. Could you tell us a little bit more about the women's equipment that you had used in your 11 women league?
Sure. And in the 11-man league, there was full padding, and the way the WIFL will distribute the padding and equipment is going to be based on your position. Every position is unique: a linebacker, a secondary, someone who's a quarterback or a running back. The helmets, the gear, the padding is all unique to very specific positions, and that's acknowledged in this league. It's a huge positive, and it's a step in the right direction. My main reason for leaving the LFL was because of the lack of safety, and unfortunately it was really also based on the follow-up and the care from the affiliates and the league. I had a broken clavicle and dislocated shoulder, and that's not something that I'm willing to risk for a league that isn't interested in my well-being on or off the field.
And I noticed something similar. I personally didn't even sign the contract. I stepped out shortly after training camp due to some of what was told to us as a group while we were sitting there. And Julie, you probably remember this, but I distinctly remember being told that the reason why we're not using full football helmets is because we would use them as weapons and it would defeat the purpose. And I just found that absolutely ridiculous, and couldn't believe that would come out of somebody's mouth who's supposed to be talking to us about the safety provisions being taken and that the top of the line, and we're doing everything we can to protect you, when you're telling me you're going to keep us in hockey helmets because we're going to use our heads as as some sort of weapon of mass destruction of sorts. So I personally couldn't be a part of that, and that is one of the deciding factors why I didn't go ahead and move forward with starting, my first season with the league. And I must say that that's a pretty big deal for most of you ladies who want to come out and play. We want to make sure that you're aware that we are going to be given the proper equipment necessary to, fill these spots, and that you will be taken care of. So that's not, false promise. You're going to get that. Absolutely.
Well, and I think too, one of the things we're talking about safety from a personal standpoint, so the helmets on our heads, the pads on our bodies, but also too during the game. The referees that are there, even in the NFL, they call penalties for player safety in mind. They issue penalties and as well as fines and suspensions because they don't want that same dangerous play to be replicated. They don't want other people to be, a defenseless receiver getting hit and getting knocked out. That's how you get on YouTube. That's how you get so many likes. That's how it gets really promoted in other leagues. But in this league, it's, again, those safety provisions so that you are going up against other players who, you might hate each other on the field, but then the minute you're off is you're high-fiving because you know that person put out everything that they could, as well as knowing that the coaches are protecting you and the league is protecting you, and they're putting the right kind of people in with job experience in there to be able to make those calls, make those determinations, and really protect the players. So I think that's one of the things that's really exciting about the future of this league, and I'm really excited to see, these guys be taken care of, on the field, because as much as, we all want to see the best play possible, we want to make sure that they can walk away under their own accord. So
The future of the league really depends on the players that want to show up and be a part of it. This is the first season, and we're really looking for those like-minded women, the strong, athletic, beastly animals to come out of their cage and show up for the tryouts.
Yep, the league needs you as much as you need them. So please show up. Let's get this going. Let's create this model that other people can follow forward with. Just show up, show us what you got. You gotta be there. Let's make this happen. All right. I want to talk a little bit about the entertainment factor. I come from a slight entertainment background. I do some stunts and so forth and acting. Now that is true. That's entertainment, but there is a distinction between having that entertainment and also, getting some sort of spotlight and exposure with the league as well. Exposure means that we're actually being respected as a true professional sport, just like the NFL or NBA.
WNBA.
WNBA, exactly. And we need that exposure, to allow us to continue throughout our careers. Whereas entertainment, I see it as, all spotlights on me. That's great.
Ego.
Yeah, it's all about feeding that ego. And you can come out for whatever reason you want, but you can have both. You can have the both of that, the best of both worlds.
Football
here.
is a team sport. It's not an eye sport. I don't mean to interrupt, but
No worries.
with football, it's not about one person. We're not showcasing one person. We're showcasing the team. When they talk about the blitz, they're talking about the blitz, not just one person. If they talk about the rage, they're talking about the rage, not just one person. The Wildcats. They're talking about the Wildcats. There might be a star, okay, but they're being backed up by the rest of the team. They're not focusing on one person. We are going to focus on the team, and the team is what wins games. And that's what every team that I've been involved with that won championships. We were all one team, and that's when we had men. You have a 60-man roster, and you're playing with 52. Try to control 52 men on one team, and when you have them all gelling as one, and you're an unstoppable force. If you can get 25 ladies gelling as one, you turn to a great championship team. So that's what we're all about, is becoming a team sport, not an eye sport.
and
Talking about teams, Coach, you are coaching women and you're coaching men at the same time. Can you give the fans and all the ladies and all the girls who are going to come and try out, what are the differences coaching men, women, the technical aspects of coaching men and women, and also just being a leader for both sexes? What are the differences?
The main difference is, like I had mentioned before, men are given the opportunity as boys to grow up from 5 on to play the game. If a young lady wants to try to play, they're either encouraged not to do it, go cheer, go play soccer, go play a different sport that doesn't involve helmets and a shoulder pad. But now it's being more encouraged now, but if we can get our sport to where it needs to be, you will see more women's football. But with men, they're starting at 5. So when you get them at the age group that I'm getting everyone at right now, after college, which is in their 20s, early 20s to close to 30s, they have a football experience. I don't have to teach that much with men. With women, I have to teach the game all over again. So I have to teach it at a slower and slower level so that they will understand the game a little bit more. And you have to have the patience. And the patience is very, very tough at times because you tell the person 5 or 6 times that this is how you do it. But we have the patience. We want to make women's sports build. I want to see it all. I want to see it all grow. I know myself as a coach and all the other coaches that are going to be involved in the WIFL are going to have the same patience to teach ladies how to play the game, and that's all we want. We want to make sure everyone knows the game to the full extent. That's why we practice as much as we do. We just don't show up and play. We are there to help everyone out become great football players. We can turn an athlete into a football player.
And I think, too, you talked about exposure versus entertainment, and I think that watching women play as a well-cohesive group is much more entertaining than watching, a couple people go out there and try and make something work that is a little bit more just forced because it has to work. Mm-hmm. But instead, actually getting to go through game plan and, seeing a cohesive group just, like you're saying, balling out. I mean, you get to really see these women, their true personalities come out because before pads and after pads what that's like. Mm-hmm. You know what the beginning of the season versus game time and throughout the season, and you want to be progressing and you want to be able to really hit that pinnacle before you go into your playoffs. Mm-hmm. So you're really going to have the time to be able to do that, and then throughout you're also going to be getting that exposure in your community and everything else. And so
there's a sense of pride that comes along with that. And I know as a player, I'm sure you can relate, Coach Reeder, that there's nothing better than to be developed as a football player. Mm-hmm. And I take pride in pleasing my teammates and my coach and really doing a good service for future athletes that are coming into this sport.
I agree. Prior to joining up and actually being coached by Coach Reeder, I had no football experience whatsoever. I was a previous Golden Gloves boxer. I've been boxing most of my life, so it was a very solitary sport of sorts in which you did have the spotlight on you, and it is a much different feeling being part of a team sport where you can see yourself growing along with your other team members. And that's something that I would like to mention. You don't have to have a football background to come out and play. Again, if you're an athlete, you can be trained, to play these positions. You're going to be placed in the position that's best fit for your personality, for your athleticism. And I must say personally myself, again, not knowing anything about football, I didn't join until I was 28 years old, and I was able to be coached. As long as you're coachable, you can be taught how to play the game. You can learn the rules. You can play just as good as the boys. And I think that's, if you really want to, that's something great. And you make a lot of great teammates. I also have a former military background, and it's kind of reminiscent of that. Being part of that team atmosphere, being able to grow, you learn your weaknesses, you learn your strengths. They get bounced off your teammates, and they help you grow. So it's a wonderful opportunity. It's football. Yeah.
Football, with what I've learned, is a huge life lesson. It teaches you everything, your hard work. I mean, you can take football into your job. I remember throughout the season last year, I gave you guys an essay, not an essay, but pretty much questions. Mm-hmm. How would you take football and put it into your regular life? Football has taught me a lot just in working with teams, how to get teams working together. You can take that to your workplace. You can get 10 people in your workplace to work together as a team, and it turns into a successful business. It's all about working together, and that's what football is about, because one person is not going to win that game. In our case, eight players is what wins that game. When you have all 8 on the same page on the field, you're going to win ball games. And we take these lessons and move them on in life. So if you're interested in playing football as a woman, and that's what we're trying to promote here, it will teach you more life lessons that you can carry on to your kids, carry on to your families, carry on into real life. You'll learn, and everyone here has learned something from football and carried it onto their own life. So that is huge. If you're really thinking about football, think about that as well. You're thinking about wanting to further yourself in life or teach yourself a life lesson. Football is huge. You don't believe it until you actually, take it on. And I never knew a team sport. I grew up in team sports my whole life, but this sport here teaches you a lot about life.
I think too, you mentioned personality, and I came on with the team in Baltimore thinking I was going to be a great offensive lineman, a tight end, and once I got the opportunity to play a little bit of defense, I really found my niche because I played defense in college volleyball. So that to me, it actually just clicked. And you're talking about like life lessons, and I think the perseverance of going through things outside of football. Tough, times at a job or going through career changes, being able to kind of pull from that and know that I just have to make it through these 5 days because I have practice on the weekend, and I get to kind of reconnect with the women that are going through the same things that I am. Relationship issues, home life issues, career issues, all these different things. We can still relate because we're all putting in that same time and that same effort. And that personal development too, to not only make connections with players, but really find that in myself to say, you know what, I can showcase the best things about me. And you mentioned personality, and I knew that once I stepped on the field, this whole new person came out because I felt so confident with the women that I was playing next to, because I knew that they fought that hard for me, that I was going to do that 10 times more for them. And to say, I still have some close relationships with the women that I played that are currently playing. I've seen them come. We have one player that lost about 60 pounds. A phenomenal player who did not take no for an answer and kept working at it and just developed herself as an athlete. Not even just with the the image in mind, but knowing that she had to prepare her body to be able to really be successful. So really all walks of life, and then to have personalities like these women to be out on the field and challenge the girl that wants to come on.
It's fun. You're part of it. You're part of a family of women and some great influences from coaches that just really are facilitating respect, a good time, competition, a little travel, but really it's just about coming together for one goal. And at some point, somebody's going to have a championship. Are you going to be on that team?
What we do need to look at too is we all have families. We all have kids. I'm sure a lot of you have kids. And being great role models for your own kids, especially football, your kid is going to go to school saying, my mother plays football, or my mommy plays football. You should have seen what she did. And they're going to, what? Then they actually go to a game and they're like, oh my gosh, your mother's awesome. She's playing football. Did you see what your mother did the other day on TV? Or if we ever get to the TV aspect, it's a matter of like plus your life lessons you're teaching your kid at home. And once they see that you are doing important things in the community or with, with your work or at home, your family life improves because you're doing more of family type things with the mother, the father, the other kids. It's a huge, building process. I have kids myself, and sports has really, made me teach my kids more about life, and they love that I'm involved with things. They love it. They might not show it that much, but my son is a great baseball player, and he's only 6 years old. Well, he'll be 6 next week, but really good baseball player. But how's he going to learn how to be a great teammate if he doesn't see a role model at home with that? So this is something you could teach your kids as well. If you're thinking about playing football or getting back into sports, this is a great tool to get back into. I've seen with coaching women the past 3 to 4 years, I've seen a lot of women grow into great women. I'm not just saying that you see them growing from being this shy, innocent person turn into this, this hardcore football player. But you know what? They get more respect. They actually bring their true colors out, and you just see awesome things. So if you're really interested in playing football, get your butts out there.
Hey guys, I see you've got a ball there. That's the reason why people are coming to play the game, because of that ball there. Is this the same ball in terms of size that the NFL use? And after you answer that question, just show us how to properly
Go
throw the
Vanna.
ball, and you know what you guys can do with it. That's the ball you're gonna be playing with. So you
Probably.
guys show us a few things with it.
Or my pet peeve is properly holding the football, for one. One, this is a junior size football. NFL footballs are much bigger. But I believe with my understanding is this is going to be the same football that we're going to use in our league. Not the same brand. I'm not sure, if they have a sponsor or who's going to provide footballs, but it could be, Rawlings, it could be Wilson, it could be anybody. The NFL football is a Wilson football, so we don't know what's going to happen with that yet. But it's a junior size football. If you're looking to get a football to practice with, get a junior football from any athletic store. But my biggest pet peeve, I'm sorry, if I see someone running down the field like it's a rugby ball, I'm going to chase you down and strip it out of your
I've
hands.
been yelled at
This is
before.
the worst way to carry a football.
Okay.
I'll tell you why. Julie's going to show you.
Okay.
She could punch it out from under, or
Don't forget to grab
pop
the
it.
pads and do it.
But what we also
Real.
teach
Show us
is what,
again.
if she would grab with this hand, the back of my shoulder, and come around and strip the ball out, it's easily taken out. I'm sorry, you're running full speed. She comes back and grabs, that ball's coming out. My biggest thing is you have to cover the point. This is the first point you have to cover. One, if she tries to grab the ball, even if she tries to grab the ball from up front, it's not coming out because she's got to grab my hand. But see, I'm just showing it from one point.
Okay.
But I want all points into the body. So right now, even if she tried to punch underneath or over top, it's not coming out because I have it locked in. If she tried to wrestle it out, of course I'm going to throw another hand on it, but if she had my arm, this arm was taken, I have a firm grip. But I don't want to see this, because, again, if she comes around and I'm holding it like this, it looks like the proper way, correct?
Oh, yeah.
If she grabs it, it'll flip out.
Okay.
So you have to, there's, my biggest thing, if you want to know how to carry a football and you want to come to my tryouts, it needs to be like this. If I see you carrying it like this, I'm going to come after you. Proper way of catching. You need to have your points. All right, our points, you have to have the diamond. I tell everyone to put their fingers together until you actually learn to keep your hands together. So if you are actually trying to catch a ball like this, it's not going to, I caught it, but it's not going to happen if it's coming full speed.
Okay.
This is
Battling
what
off
we
the
see.
pads,
This is
got
what we
chest.
This is what we see in women's football. This is what we're trying to teach. Not to bring the hands together too late. The reaction has to be
Do it again at full speed. Let's
when you
see
throw
what's
your
going on.
hands up, your hands have to be together. All right? This is the one thing that we don't see with no one knows. Consistently, like I know when I'm getting ready to catch a ball, my hands are already locked like this, but I'm throwing my hands up, and that's how I'm going to be. Too much of this goes on. Like I'm going to go catch the ball, but you're leaving. This is swatting. She's throwing it half speed to me right now, but you don't want to swat at the ball.
Are there any closing thoughts?
That we
I'd
want to
say-
tell the ladies that want to try out. That's the question. Is there any closing thoughts on what we want to tell everybody?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Anything?
Show up. We're here. We're going to be here. July 27th. Come out to DC. We're going to have our tryouts. Nice and hot outside. Wear some nice cool weather. Get some water, mouthpiece, cleats, whatever you want to bring. Bring a towel, bring a buddy, bring your ID so we know who you are. We're also going to be holding tryouts in New York City on, I believe it's going to be August 31st, and Birmingham, Alabama will be on August the 24th. So those are some additional tryout dates for you as well. Philly will be August 10th.
Yes.
So we have multiple opportunities all over the East Coast. Come on out. Show us what you got.
Show up, show off, show out. It's showtime. See you guys on the 27th.
All I can say is just show up. I mean, that's all we keep saying. Just be there, be ready to go. We're going to start off quick. Not much I can say right now. Just show up to tryouts. Experience it. If you walk away from it but know that we're going to be here to back you up. So we're not automatically going to pick 25 that day. We'll probably have 50 to 60. So it's a matter of, if you're there, bring it.
I've made some lifelong friends from tryouts to now. So that first day, just be yourself, bring what you can. You know, if you're nervous, that's understandable. You're going to be going up against a lot of amazing competition, but just be yourself so that the coaches can really see your best foot forward. So good luck.
Register on the WIFL football website. Again, that's www.wiflfootball.com. Get it.
Good.